So it says they gave me a little note saying they gave me a free 감자당면, which is potato noodles. Honestly, I've never heard of that, so I'm not sure what that's gonna look like. It smells so good. Okay. Ooh. Wow. Dang, they don't give me any napkins? Come on. It's like very super Korean with the toilet paper.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Cheatery. Today we're having some, I'm not too sure what this is called, but it's Chinese mala stew is how it's translated to. In Korean they say malatang, which is basically I know this was one of the menus that I really did want to try in Korea because this has been on the trend and everyone's been kind of obsessing over it. So first meal that I have ordered in Korea is going to be mala stew. And the toppings I got are, I did medium spiciness with like a mild mala scent, 100 grams of beef, 100 grams of lamb, Chinese noodle, and then another Chinese like rice cake looking thing. Rice cake, which is interesting because they have cheese, sweet potato, and the sweet pumpkin potato. And they also gave me extra topping of potato noodles, so that's very exciting. Don't mind me wearing a puffer jacket inside because as soon as I stepped inside of my grandma's house, it was freezing because she hasn't been home for the past couple weeks. She unfortunately had a really bad femur fracture, so she went in for surgery and she hasn't been home. That's kind of reason why I'm in Korea, but we'll get more into that later. So this is actually my grandma's. I hope she doesn't mind that I'm borrowing hers, but I got it from her closet because I honestly didn't think it was going to be too cold in Korea because it was 70 to 80s in America when I left, so I was not expecting this kind of weather, but it's pretty cold and it's been raining apparently the entire day, so I think that's part of the reason why the temperature dropped. But without further ado, let's get into it. I think this is a sausage, or I didn't get sausage, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, that's rice cake. Oh, that's like a stuffed rice cake. Interesting. And I also got pickled radish, which was a free option. What I loved when I was ordering this was they had a lot of interesting toppings that I've never seen before that are not available in American Chinese or American Korean restaurants. So I want to know what these are, but I'm assuming these are the potato noodles that they gave me for free because I don't recall ordering anything like this. I don't know. I mean, it's good. So I got some bok choy, all types of mushrooms because I love mushrooms. And this is some beef. Another type of Chinese noodle, I'm guessing. I wish I knew the name, but so I think these are the Chinese clear noodles that are in a more flattened, extra big and flattened version, which I don't know the name to, so if you know, please comment down below. But this, I know it's rice cake. And this one's stuffed with cheese. This looks like a radish. Is gonna be my wild guess. No, it's potato. Yeah, it's just a thinly sliced potato. Some pumpkin. Oh, slipping out. So just to give you guys a little update of what I'm doing in Korea at my grandma's room is because I made a very, very last minute. Sorry, the mala is getting to me. Whew. As I was saying, I made a very last minute decision to come to Korea. And as you guys know, I was just finishing up my clinical, and this week was my last week of clinical. And that was my very last clinical ever for my program. So I'm basically done, and all I have left is a wrap-up class and our graduations in virtual. So there was really nothing that was physically holding me back from going anywhere. And also my board exam is in July, which I'm currently studying for, but I did have a little wiggle room in terms of where I could be located. And as I mentioned before, my grandma recently had a fall and she had a femur fracture, and so she had to get a surgery for it. And it's interesting because all I've been doing the past 8 weeks are treating the elderly and treating people. I wanted to come with my mom. My mom already had plans to come, but my mom put out the idea if she wanted to come and join her in helping her with my grandma and just I guess traveling with her because she was gonna come alone. So yeah, that's basically how I got the idea, and I was like, why not? Because I'm done on Thursday. It was in the back of my mind that I wanted to come to Korea at some point after graduation, after finishing my program, because realistically, if I start applying for jobs, I wasn't really gonna have any wiggle room to come visit. And so yeah, that's why I'm here. And my grandma lives in the house that I used to live in during my childhood. So that's how I ended up here. There's a whole reason why my mom had to be separated from me with the whole quarantine and all that, but I will go into that in a separate video because I think a lot of people on YouTube right now, or a lot of people in general, are curious about how the 14-day mandatory quarantine is playing out in Korea. And so yeah, I was just gonna make a whole spiel because it did take more than 24 hours for me to I had to go through multiple steps, multiple interviews at the airport to eventually make it home. So it was a long and complicated process, but I will get into details and all of that in a separate video. So this one I particularly remember because I did a video on this. This is a mimosa noodles. They call it the noodles. I know it's a type of Chinese noodles, but it kind of looks like Korean rice cake, so I think that's why it was super trendy in Korea. But I made spicy rice cake with these because I got my mom to get them from Korea, so I made a recipe and it kind of it tastes like rice cakes, just a little bit. It's in between rice cake and fat noodles, I guess. Ooh, the soup is so good.
I don't think I'll feel it when I hit the ground.